If you're watching this video on our best integrated amplifiers, you probably know that they're one of the best ways to start when you're putting together a hi-fi system. They'll power a pair of nice speakers and let you connect sources like a streamer or a turntable. Some of them have built-in streaming. First, we'll talk about some important features to look for and then get into our current favorites. Let's think about connections first. Most importantly, what speakers are you going to play your music through? The simplest kind of integrated amp setup might be one with built-in streaming, or a stereo receiver and one pair of speakers. You're getting your music from one box and two speakers. Some integrated amps have terminals for one pair of speakers and some have them for two. And if you're using power-hungry 4-ohm speakers, you'll want to make sure that the amp you get is 4-ohm stable and that your speakers can handle its wattage. And if you know you want to add a subwoofer, make sure the amp has an output for one. The next question is, what sources do you want to play music with? At the bare minimum, I need an analog input for my turntable. I'd want more because I'd also connect a CD player, and even though I don't currently own a tape deck, I have a few old tapes that one day I'm going to digitize, maybe. You might want your amp to have an analog stereo balanced XLR input. Some higher-end sources use that kind of output for the clearest, cleanest audio signal. A lot of integrated amps have digital inputs, which means they have a built-in digital to analog converter, or DAC. Some of those let you play sound from a USB drive, your computer, or a TV, and if they have HDMI eARC input, you can really get the best sound quality and control of your soundtrack audio for movie nights. And look for optical and coaxial digital inputs if you need those. The bottom line here is, what speakers are you going to connect and what sources are you going to connect? Make sure the integrated amp you get has the connections you need. That goes for wireless streaming connections too. Only a couple of the amps in this list have built-in streaming, but there are a lot of other great choices when it comes to streaming integrated amps. So many, in fact, that we should probably do a separate video. Maybe we will. That's because with a good streaming amp, you can literally just add speakers. But again, make sure the amp you're getting supports the streaming service you use. Qobuz, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, Apple Music, or whatever you use. That can sometimes shift, like Qobuz recently added their Qobuz Connect feature, which makes it easier to use with certain streaming platforms. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to streaming, some of these streaming platforms like Bluesound's BlueOS, Hios and Denon and Marantz, Sonos and others let you sync with other compatible players. To me, that sounded like a silly idea until I tried it. So if you think there's any future for you wherein you want to play the same music in your kitchen as you're playing in your living room or any other room, you should look into these wireless multi-room streaming platforms. Likewise, if you're already using one of those platforms, like you've got some standalone Sonos or Bluesound speakers, or maybe, even without realizing it, like your soundbar or your AVR has one of these platforms built in. In that case, maybe you want to consider an integrated amp that could be part of a whole home audio system. Okay, let's get into our favorite integrated amplifiers. First, the best value, the Cambridge Audio CXA81 Mark II. This amp is a workhorse with the audio company Cambridge's distinctive British style. It's got 80 watts per channel of power built around an audiophile-grade toroidal transformer that's designed for steady, high-current, low-noise output that can make all types of music sources sound brilliant. For me, the analog section of this amp is where it really shines. It's got inputs for 4 analog sources, one of them balanced XLR, so you can connect a higher-end component like Cambridge's awesome CXN100 streamer. The amp's built-in high-performance ESS Sabre ES9018K2M DAC lets you get super detailed sound, especially when you play music from a computer connected to the USB-B input. And it's got built-in Bluetooth for easy wireless streaming. And it's kind of a small thing, but I appreciate how Cambridge labels the connections upside down and right side up. So when you're looking over the top of it, you can still see what you're doing. Best for audiophiles, the McIntosh MA252. This striking amp from McIntosh could also be a contender for coolest looking. I bought my first tube-driven guitar amp back in the early 90s and since then haven't been able to live without the warm, rich sound quality they impart. McIntosh's hybrid drive technology combines a vacuum tube preamplifier with a solid-state amplifier section that delivers formidable power. And its large transformer and high-quality filter capacitors give this amp a substantial foundation with plenty of clean headroom. This best of both worlds design allows the MA252 to present your music with lifelike detail and dynamics, with the holographic sonic illumination that only tubes can provide. In case you're new to McIntosh, this venerable American company has been making top-notch hi-fi equipment in Binghamton, New York since 1949. The MA252 has the hallmarks of their classic components: heavy, high-grade construction, design that makes form following function beautiful, and of course, brilliant sound. The MA252 is strictly analog with streamlined connections that include a balanced stereo XLR input, a pair of line-level RCA stereo inputs, and a dedicated phono input. I love this simplicity, and there's an audiophile argument for keeping analog amplification separate from digital circuitry. But you can definitely use the MA252 to amplify your digital sources, connect your favorite network streamer, or add the MDA20 DAC, or McIntosh's amazing MB25 Bluetooth transceiver. It's also got a fantastic built-in headphone amp for private listening. Best for wireless streaming, the NAD M10 V3. This is a really nice example of what a streaming integrated amp can be. Just connect your favorite pair of speakers, then you've got 100 watts per channel of NAD's hybrid digital in-core Class D circuitry, which runs cool and stays clean, emphasizing the details and dynamics in your music. For streaming, you'll add the M10 V3 to your home network with the free and powerful BlueOS app. It supports a wide range of subscription music services like Qobuz, Amazon Music, and a bunch more, plus internet radio. And you can play music using Apple AirPlay 2, Roon, Tidal Connect, and Spotify Connect. And that's why, for a lot of people, the one-box setup is going to be enough. But the operating system is also a wireless multi-room platform, so if you have other BlueOS players, like standalone speakers and component streamers from Bluesound, or if you plan on adding some in the future, you can easily synchronize music throughout your house, or control each player independently. The M10 V3's built-in ESS Sabre ES9039 DAC makes beautiful music from high-res digital sources, whether streaming or connected to its optical or coaxial inputs. You can also get impressive TV sound thanks to its HDMI eARC input. You could even add a pair of Bluesound wireless speakers to get 4-channel Dolby Digital home theater sound. The amp's analog section includes a couple of stereo RCA inputs and a phono input that sounds really nice. A preamp output lets you connect to another amp, and a pair of mono subwoofer outputs gives you the option to fill out bass while concentrating the M10 V3's amplification on mids and highs. And you can manage the bass and other audio settings right from the BlueOS app. The M10 V3 also comes with a free Dirac Live limited bandwidth license and measurement microphone, so you can fine-tune the sound to compensate for your unique listening space. And I've got to mention that this amp has a nice, big, full-color touchscreen that lets you control basic playback functions and see album art and track info. It's a feature I really like, and it helps make control available to people in your home who don't have the app. It also comes with a remote that has 10 presets. That's also great when you don't have your phone at hand. Best desktop integrated amp, the NAD D3045. The NAD D3045 stands out literally for its compact design. You can place it horizontally or stand it upright for flexible placement. In either orientation, it doesn't take up a lot of real estate on your desk. But NAD has packed this little amp with key features that make it a great desktop sound solution. You can connect a computer to its USB Type-B input to get the maximum 24-bit 384 kHz resolution from its built-in DAC. You also get a phono input plus a line-level RCA input pair. One coaxial and 2 optical inputs let you connect a wide range of digital sources. And it's got two-way Bluetooth for wireless streaming to the amp or from the amp to a pair of compatible headphones. Best for vinyl lovers, the Marantz Model 30. The phono stage built into the all-analog Marantz Model 30 includes a front panel knob for adjusting the impedance to accommodate a moving magnet cartridge or low, medium, or high output moving coil cartridges. That lets you spin vinyl with a wide range of cartridges without having to add an outboard phono preamp. It also has Marantz's superb amplification, built around a high-current, double-shielded toroidal power transformer with 100 watts per channel into an 8-ohm load and twice that into 4 ohms. That's great. But proprietary circuitry Marantz calls their hyperdynamic amplifier module, along with their Soundmaster tuning, which involves meticulous listening and trial and error, provides the special sauce that helps the Model 30 give your music super accurate, substantial, and engaging sound. Best for playing high-res audiophiles, the HiFi Rose RS520. The HiFi Rose RS520 is an unusual integrated amp. It takes the top spot in this category because of its bountiful digital inputs and superb built-in ESS Sabre ES9038 Pro DAC, which can achieve up to 32-bit 768 kHz resolution. But it also has a spectacular app-based touchscreen interface that makes browsing and choosing music a real pleasure for you and anyone familiar with smartphones. And it's got unique 4K video streaming features. It's quite powerful too, FTC rated at 250 watts per channel into 8 ohms, and it's got top-notch build quality. 4 sides of its sturdy aluminum chassis are constructed as a single piece to resist vibrations and protect the first-rate internal circuitry. It can provide a really smooth ride for your sources. One of the apps you'll find on this streaming amp's 12.6-inch full-color touchscreen is RoseTube, which is a commercial-free collection, a huge collection of music video content from YouTube. You can watch it on the RS520 screen or on a TV or monitor connected to its HDMI output. Along with one analog stereo RCA input, it's got coaxial and optical digital inputs and outputs, a USB Type-B input for a computer, and HDMI eARC input for a TV. And there are 3 USB Type-A inputs, one for the included wireless dongle, and 2 that let you connect a compatible storage drive loaded with high-res music files, an outboard USB DAC, or, if you like to keep it in the family, the HiFi Rose RS520 CD drive. It's easy to keep track of inputs and outputs and other settings on the touchscreen. You can also customize the display to show album art and track info or virtual watt meters and more. And you can also control the RS520 with the free Rose Connect Premium app, which in my opinion is one of the better streaming control apps out there. That about wraps it up for this list, but we've got a lot of integrated amps here at Crutchfield. If you have any unanswered questions about any of the models in this video or need to find one with different features, get in touch with us today.